Gout is the most common inflammatory arthritis in men and in older postmenopausal women. It is caused by a deposition of monosodium urate monohydrate crystals in and around the synovial joints. The pathophysiology of gout is that there is deposition of monosodium urate crystals in the extravascular tissues first and then in the synovial tissues. It is aggravated by factors such as the decrease in pH, decrease in temperature, and increase in the pressure. One third of body's uric acid is due to consumption of specific diets like seafood, and two-thirds is from the degradation of purines. In its breakdown, uric acid is produced. The two-thirds of uric acid excretion is through the urine and one-third is through the intestine. There are certain drugs which act at the degradation pathway of the uric acid. The clinical features of gout include two main categories. First is the acute attack of gout, second is the chronic gout. In the acute attack of gout, 50% of time the first metatarsophalangeal joint is involved. This is specifically called as podagra. There is rapid onset of excruciating pain lasting for 2 to 6 hours, often waking the patient up. According to the patient, he experiences the worst pain ever. In the joint, there is tenderness, marked swelling, overlying red shiny skin. This is a self-limiting condition and it accompanies fever, malaise, and even delirium. On the site of inflammation, there is pruritus and eventually there is desquamation. The important differential diagnosis of this podagra include septic arthritis, infective cellulitis, and reactive arthritis. After the first attack, there is a greater risk for the second attack of acute gout. Most of the time it occurs within 1 year and it may even progress to chronic gout. Acute gout can also involve other joints like ankle, midfoot, knee, small joints of hands, wrist, and elbow. If the gout progresses to the chronic stage, the crystals may even deposit in joints and soft tissues. The deposition of uric acid crystals in the soft tissues are called tophi. This is specifically called as the tophaceous gout. The common sites of tophi are extensor surfaces of fingers, hands, forearm, and elbow. In very late stage, Achilles tendon or even helix of the ear can be involved. The tophi are white in color. They may even ulcerate, discharging white gritty material and become infected or induce a local inflammatory response. In the chronic stage, the hyperuricemia can lead to nephrolithiasis, that is, uric acid stones in the kidney, or the stones can eventually cause interstitial nephritis, especially in older people which are having diuretic therapy. There are certain investigations we do to rule out or rule in this diagnosis. First and foremost, the golden standard for the diagnosis of gout is the synovial fluid aspiration and examination of that. So, in case of acute gout, you are going to have a turbid fluid in color, and in chronic gout, you are going to have a white colored fluid. On examination, you can also find that uric acid crystals are needle shaped and they are negatively birefringent. Second category includes the biochemical screen, which includes renal function tests, uric acid levels, glucose and lipid profile. These all conditions are associated with metabolic syndrome. The uric acid level may even be normal in acute attack. So, a patient can have an acute attack, but his levels of uric acid in blood are normal. You have to be aware of this. There could be increase in the ESR, CRP and neutrophilia. On X-rays, in advanced disease only, you can find gout, which are actually soft tissue swelling. There are specific findings like punched out Lulworth-Kove lesions in association with destructive arthritis. Now coming to the management. There are two main categories of symptoms the patient can have: acute gout or prophylaxis of the condition so that there is decreased hyperuricemia. In acute gout, we are actually going to treat the symptoms, that is pain and inflammation. While in case of prophylaxis, we are going to decrease the serum uric acid levels to prevent an attack of acute gout. For the acute gout, we are going to give the oral colchicine drug, which is the mainstay of acute gout, but it has few side effects. So you should be counseling the patient to continue this drug even he is facing these side effects, which include nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. NSAIDs can be given, but only in those conditions in which it is not contraindicated, like if patient has coexisting cardiovascular, cerebrovascular or chronic kidney disease. These NSAIDs are contraindicated. Oral prednisolone can be given to decrease the swelling of the joints. Along with it, the IL-1 beta inhibitor, that is canakinumab, can also be given. It has proved to be very effective because it is very expensive drug. Patients who have recurrent attacks can have the joint aspiration. In this method, we actually inject the mainly involved joint of the patient with some steroids to decrease the regional inflammation. In case of prophylaxis, we are going to decrease the serum uric acid levels to prevent an attack of acute gout. The main drug of choice is the allopurinol. The allopurinol is the mainstay drug. What it actually does is inhibit the enzyme called xanthine oxidase. It converts hypoxanthine to xanthine and xanthine to uric acid. And because of this inhibition, there is going to be increased production of xanthine or hypoxanthine, which are more water soluble and they are excreted much easily as compared to uric acid. But because of its nephrotoxicity, we are going to either decrease this, or if it is not controlled, we can discontinue this drug. In case of contraindication of allopurinol, we are going to give febuxostat, which is metabolized by the liver. So in chronic kidney disease patients, you can give this drug. The starting dose is 80 mg, and with the period of time you can increase the dose 120 mg daily. You can also give some uricose, uric drugs like the sulfenpyrazone, bronzbromarone and probenecid. These drugs require a lot of fluid intake for their proper action. A new drug called the pegloticase can also be given. It is under the heading of the biological treatment. It is actually an enzyme uricase along with a chemical to which it is conjugated called the monomethoxy polyethylene glycol. The factors which decrease the efficacy of these drugs include the local infusion reaction, and second thing is the antibody production against this drug. The most important factor in the management of gout is the lifestyle measures. They are equally important as drug therapy in the treatment of gout. The patient should be advised to lose the weight or increase exercise, reduce excessive alcohol intake. Some drugs should be either reduced, or if they can be replaced by less toxic drugs, they should be replaced. These drug groups include antihypertensive drugs like some diuretics including thiazides, beta blockers, and ACE inhibitors.